I know going into the first turn, my colt wasn't the same horse that he's been in Arkansas. We got bumped a little bit around the first turn, and when we headed up the backside, this colt had no run in him whatsoever. He was traveling fine, physically. I could find no reason at that time why he should just be giving it up. At the half-mile pole, I was sure there was something desperately wrong, so I went ahead and eased him. At that point, I could see the blood coming out of both nostrils.
Well, it was wise then that you did pull him up. Do you think he's going to be all right, or you have no idea at this point, I guess?
Well, it's hard to guess. He bled pretty severely, but they can put him on Lasix and cure the problem, I'm sure, over a period of time. And I know he's in good hands with Mr. Oswald, and Mr. Anthony will let him do what's the right thing for the horse. So
he wasn't on Lasix here. Has he bled before?
No, sir. I'm sure if he'd ever given any indication at any point in his career that he was a bleeder, that he had any tendency to bleed, he'd have been on Lasix today.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen a horse bleed, but 10 days ago, I breezed a 2-year-old, not on Lasix, easy half a mile right here at Saratoga. I'd like to show you what it looks like when a horse bleeds. This is a 2-year-old filly, never ran. She's got blood coming out of both nostrils. She bled in a half-mile workout. She's not on Lasix. I didn't want to give her Lasix. She's only 2. It was a very ordinary workout. It wasn't a push. She went through, she was coughing, she cooled up coughing, not feeling, very well. She coughed the whole next day. We put her on antibiotics. I kicked her out. I did what any trainer would do with a 2-year-old that bled, but I didn't treat her with Lasix, but I have never come up with a product that could stop a horse from bleeding. If somebody gives me an all-natural product that will stop a horse from bleeding, I'm the first guy to sign up. But when we didn't have Lasix, we took horses' water and feed away from them, depending on the degree of bleeder that horse was. 16 hours, 20 hours, or 24 hours before a race. That horse had no water, no food. And if I told you the names of some of those horses, some of the greatest horses running in New York at the time, because that was the only way to stop them from bleeding. It accomplished the same thing that a much more humane shot of Lasix 4 hours before a race accomplishes, eliminating fluid. But I don't know a trainer that if we eliminate Lasix is not going to have X amount of percent of horses that have to have their water and feed taken away 16, 20, 24 hours before a race, because that's the only other thing I've ever seen work. 30 years of training horses.